All right, hello everybody, and a very happy Tuesday to all of you. We are jumping into our lighting critique for the day. We're actually going to start off with a question that Jordan had, and the question centered around sky creation for animated films. And so I will just kind of talk through the process that I had with the disclaimer that, like, I worked at certain places, and my experience wasn't always, it's not always the same everywhere you go. But I pulled up this sequence from the last film that I worked on, Spies in Disguise, and just to kind of talk it through. So basically, early on at Blue Sky, it was kind of like it was a little bit of a wild, wild west when it came to skies. Like, you'd still have your master lighting, and your light lead would, like, basically create a 2D sky, like paint one. And then, if you had moving shots, you'd kind of track it into place, and then you as a shot lighter would kind of base one off of that. It was just basically like, and then if the art director had a note for one of the skies, everyone had to change it individually. It was a bit of a, like I said, just like Wild West, just kind of like figuring it out as you go kind of a thing. The thing that changed, I forget which film we changed this on, but basically, we changed it to, there was one guy, a guy named Matt Wilson, who teaches our Octane course, who's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant artist. And he proposed, like, this idea of, like, he should just do all the skies, and then the artist would inherit that. So the way it works then, and the way it worked here, was that he would basically, for every sequence, design a sky and cloud system inside Houdini. Then he would import all the cameras for all the shots within that sequence. And then he would just, like, in one batch, render out every sky for every shot in the sequence. So like this, that's actually a good example. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. So this, like, let's see if I can get back to that one shot. Yeah. So this shot would be like, this is a rendered background out of Houdini that imported this camera, and then the lighting artist would inherit those frames and drop those into the background of their comp. If there was ever a note like, hey, we need this a little bit later in the day, or let's, desaturate some of this red-purple value, the sky artist would then go into that Houdini rig, desaturate that, and then rewrite all the sky frames out to the source directories, and then that would get updated the next time that you ran Nuke. So then it was just a lot of communication between the sky artist and the lighting artist. For shots like this where characters are actually falling through the sky, I mean, obviously there's additional elements, like effects would bring in additional clouds in the foreground, and you would render those. But in a lot of cases, like from a lighting artist standpoint, these shots are actually, even though they're like chaotic and crazy looking, in lots of instances, these are actually very, very easy to light, because you only have to deal with, like, basically you don't have to deal with a set. Like, you just have to deal with character lighting, and that's pretty great. And then your background would drop in, and you'd have to do some, like, wispy stuff in the foreground, and that would be it. So that's pretty much the gist of it. The biggest, yeah, because a shot like this, all you have to worry about is the characters. Everything else is just backplate that you're dragging and dropping in. The big thing that, like, inspired that was the switch to films doing 3D, because no longer would a flat plane work, because then there would be no parallax. So one thing about this shot at the end, a guy named Anthony Ragusa lit this one of them sliding in, and it took forever. Like, it's beautifully lit, but, like, it was so hard to get the simulation of the grass to go and not look like it was penetrating through the character at all. So there's, like, lots of stuff being painted out there. That was a lot of work on that one. And yeah, so I'm trying to think what else. Any questions about that? So basically, yeah, so it's like just one artist would, or a couple artists would, I know Jasmine and I did it on, I forget which film it was now, one of the Rio movies, and one of the Ice Age movies. We were sky artists on that as well. And so you would just do a whole sequence. By the way, here, I'll give you a couple These guys are our directors for this film. These characters were modeled after the two of them, so Nick Bruno and Troy Quayne. Let's see what else. Yeah, that was one of my... I lit this shot, and there was like no lighting that you could really do because all of this stuff was in the comp, so it was just like I just put one light on it. I just did like the caustic light, and then everything else was just done in comp. I think that was it for the sequence. All right, cool. Yeah, Nick and Troy. All right, cool. Let's hop over into some shots here. All right, so we'll start right here because we got Andre on. Andre, I said this before. This looks great. I've got no notes. I think she looks really wonderful. I feel like this is a like a true cinematic shot in the film where it's like, you know, she's got this iconic hair color that's direct, you know, that's drawing the viewer's eye, and therefore it's all looking good. And everything's looking like, I don't know. I just think everything looks great in here.
Cool.
Yeah, and I just want to see it rendered out in its entirety.
Yep, I'll do that.
So,
show it to you.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Depth of field, everything looks great. These lights look great. You know, there may be an opportunity to like put in like we'll play with it in the comp after, but like there may be an opportunity to put like a little bit more darkness in the background to get it. But we can play with those values after we see the full frame rate. A really good job there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is looking great. The only thing I would do is I would just put like one little pocket of light there. So it's like, you know, like light here, darkness in here, little pocket of light there. Like, whoa, I don't know what I just grabbed there. What is that? Anyway. And then just have like a little bit more light in there. But yeah, all in all, I think this is looking good. I think in the only thing I'm wondering in the dark values, especially down here, if like the base value couldn't go a little darker, but like increase the specular or the reflectivity on some of this stuff.
Okay.
Because even though they're in shadow, they would still pick up on some of the bright elements around the room. So like they would still get like little reflections and stuff in there.
Okay, cool.
That lime looks great. That looks really nice and wet and juicy, and like you just want to squeeze that into a cocktail. That's great. All right, cool. All right, great. All right, let's see, Carolina, we've got you on live here today too. All right, cool. So we've got this one is the updated version of this one. We've got this light year shot as reference. It's a really beautiful shot, and I think that you've done a really good job of like exploring the small details in it, like, you know, the small gradient of the sky going up and then like the ground going across this way we talked about in the last iteration. The character lighting I think looks really good. You've got that kind of tight rim here going into this area, and then like a little bit of a kick on that side. I think it's looking really good. I think, let's see the reference one more time, because right now I'm going to check to see, I'm looking at these dark points on her screen left side. I just want to see, yeah, like we're not quite getting those super darks in there. So I would just watch out for that, like those kind of, these super black points. And then what I really liked about this one was like right in here, there's a really subtle bit of kick on the side of his face. I don't know if you can see that. It might be kind of tough to see on my screen, but like it's coming from a little bit of the skylight and then also just like a small amount of this underglow. But I think that like, and really we miss it because her hair is so dark. I think that's her hair there, that we're not picking up any values in there. So just getting something similar in there just to create a little bit of shaping would be really great. For the crystal itself, yeah. For the crystal itself, I think it looks good. I would just tighten the glow that we have so it's a little like I would basically do two things or three things here. I would tighten this glow that you have here so it just feels like it's like kind of like the inner bits of it, like so it's really like more tied to the core. Then I would do something like put a rim light on it or something to get like some kind of nice light around, like to get the profile of it. And then I would render, and then you can try this too. I would render a pass of this without this shader on it, and put like a metal type shader on, like a pure reflection, to see if we can get some of like, because it would be kind of cool if like some of these smaller areas were like, bright kind of reflective things too. So it felt kind of crystal-y.
Cool.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And this is just from, I had to do, I've got this other thing open. Let me see if I can pull one up. We had to do a lot of, this page 5. Yeah, so like, we had a ton of crystal-y kind of work in this film. And it was all about like making some of them disappear while making other ones feel special. And that was kind of our jam, was to do, you can kind of see it, that was a GIF, a little GIF. So you can kind of see like these over here have a little bit of an inner glow, a little bit of an outside, and then those like little glass-like reflections. I thought that ended up looking really nice. So, this is from Ice Age 5. This shot, my God. Okay, sorry. Now I'm just reminiscing. Okay, cool. But yeah, I think everything else, the background's looking really good. The depth of field is looking really good. And your values are right in alignment. It's just kind of balancing that out a little bit. All right, cool.
Okay.
Good job, though. All right, for the rest, is anybody else on live that has one posted? I think there's one late one that I gotta bring in here. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll just kind of go through, unless there's any objections, we'll just kind of go through alphabetically now. Yeah. So this is Amanda's. I think this is looking really good. I like we've got the saturation bringing back into the beak. There's still a little bit of kind of like it, because it's just the blue mixes with the yellow and makes it kind of green. I'm fine with it down here underneath the foot. But there's just something about it right here. I would just make that a little bit more saturated just on that bottom part. But yeah, in terms of the rest of it, like this is pretty straight. Like this is a pretty, like the eyes are painted in the material. This character has a very specific look. Like there's not a lot of shininess to the character. So I think what we've got is pretty good. I mean, I would maybe consider putting a little bit more like of a rim kick on that side. That doesn't really have a reason for being there. Like you've got a really nice one around this arm. Like do you see how you've got that little like brightness there? Maybe just adding a little bit on the side of the face. But other than that, I think it's looking really good. Pause here to see if you guys have any comments or thoughts or questions on this one. All right, cool. All right, Angela. So this is an update to the previous one. Much more focus on the characters. That's great. I love that we're tying in this light a little bit more. I think the light can go brighter. So like, just grab one of these. So if we're just looking at the top frame here. We can push that a little brighter on the characters. Yeah, maybe something, zoom in up there. Something a little bit more along this line. Just to kind of push those values a little bit. Man, I keep just dragging these blue lines for some reason. I don't even know what that is. There we go. Again.
That's a guide. It happens every time that you click and drag from the ruler, either on the top.
Like if I do that? Oh, I see. Why have I never done that? That's funny it's just funny that I've never done that by mistake before. That's like the first time I've ever really seen it. It's funny.
It's probably because you didn't have the rulers.
Oh, you're right. Just turn off the ruler.
You can do Command R.
You are the best at. I mean, I'm the guy that works at Adobe, and you know the Photoshop filters, man. You know the hotkeys, man. You are very good at this. I'm just gonna start texting you from now on and be like, "How do I do this? Is kind of popping up."
I'm available.
Yeah, so that's cool. So I think pushing that a little bit brighter. I wonder if we can't get just a touch of value in the inside the storefront here, because like I liked what you had a little bit in terms of like there being a a little bit of life in there. Like a little bit of life in there. And it was just that it was just that the light was a little bit too bright. I would if it's there, I would bring that back a little bit. If it's not, don't worry about it. I think it's working pretty good. Her lipstick red is great and poppy, but it's a little bit too saturated. I would pull that back just a bit. When she pops back into this pose, she gets and actually him too. They both lose the entirety of the key on them, and then it starts, her skin here on this side looks a little bit grayed out. So that's just a matter of getting a little bit more fill light in there from the side. I'm curious, I don't know what that white bit is on his, I think it looks like it's on his pants. I would just eliminate that, because it looks a little, it looks like a weird seam or something. So I would just keep it the black color so we can keep the focus in here. And especially when they're in this pose, we want them to get, this amount of key looks great. And it makes sense here because he's kind of blocking the light with his hands. But once they hit this pose, we should see a little bit more of that key light on them, or try and fake some of that in there. Any other thoughts on these? These are looking good. Yeah. The only other thing would be maybe some more texture in this back wall. If it is some sort of brick or plaster or something, just to get a little more roughness back there would be cool. All right. All right, Holly, we've got this one. Once again, I think this is looking really good. I think we can go brighter and still a little bit more red on this. And looking at this again, I like this haze back here, but I'm wondering if we can't find a way to push more light onto this back rock just to get more shaping on it from left to right. We've got good top-down shaping with that mist, but just a little bit more left to right would be great. The hair has got some more value in there. It's just with the hair. Do you know do you see how this head of hair has nice darkness, but also a bit of warmth to it? I would try and get a little bit of that warmth in there too. This highlight here coming down the side is a little bit bright on the arm and then on the scales there. Let's see if I can take that down. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? Yeah, really good. Maybe some of this stuff in here, like that algae and stuff, is a little bit bright. Just take that down a touch. Getting really close though. For this one, much better positioning than the last one. I don't know if the last one pulled up, but I think I would look back at that one for more for some to go back to the lighting, because this side's a little bit dark now and a little bit blue. It's actually just that it's probably more just blue on the warm skin, so it's kind of graying it out and greening it out a little bit. But I think we could push in some more here. And then for the books, we need something here, title of the book, or to make it look kind of leathery, just to give the scene a little bit more detail. And this back wall, the texture, the image on it looks really stretched, like it's low res. So I would just look into that, maybe scale it down so it's more tileable. Bum, 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 bum. You've already got a good speck roll off on the hat, which is looking nice. The specularity in the skin's looking good. You've got that little speck hit on the side. It's really just about working in some more of that. Let me just see here. I think we've got your previous one here. Yeah. So yeah, you see how the key side of the character is brighter? I would push more towards that value, even though we're not seeing that key light anymore. And maybe just inch it around a little bit so a small bit of that light wraps around onto that side of his nose. Also, I meant to mention this too. Don't feel like you have to go cinematic in this layout. This character is proportionally very tall. I would consider, if you want to maybe go with a vertical. Man, those are terrible vertical lines. Let's see, like that. And do maybe a vertical orientation on it, because we're not really gaining anything by seeing stuff over here, and that would save you some trouble of texturing out those books a little bit more, and then you just have to texture like this one little area. But yeah, looking good though. Definitely getting that like, and again, it's all specularity on this guy. Getting that like leathery wing and just kind of like creepiness factor to 1,000 is all good stuff. James, I think this is looking really good. I love the detail on the guitar. That adds so much to me. It adds so much interest. More shaping in these plants, more grounding in the stuff. Take a step back and take a look at it. I wonder, just looking at the saturation level, like I'm wondering if pulling back the saturation just a touch wouldn't help a little bit. It's personal preference on like at this point, but for me, I think that you can get the same impact while bringing in a little bit more believability by pulling back the saturation, maybe like 10% overall in the image. Let's see what else. The only other thing, like I think this arm looks really good. I'm just wondering if there's no way to like lift the value just a little bit on that arm to give it a little more life. But again, this is really nitpicky stuff. I'm gonna open it up to you guys. Do you guys see anything? Any areas that we can improve this? Because I think it's looking good, but I just want to hear other thoughts.
I think it looks awesome. The only thing that I was thinking now was that there's so much light, and the only place where I see specularity on the floor is from the light in the middle. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything to do with the story or, you know.
It's kind of a leading path, but you're right. Like maybe just like a little bit here, not to this level, but just like a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just so that you get something from the other lights also.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think how that would work. It would definitely be a reflection from these. I think maybe we would see something from these. It's just like a weird, because it's like a reflection down and then up to the camera. So it's based on the camera position. So yeah, that's a good point. Maybe just sprinkle in some of those a little bit.
Yeah, because it could be something nice to be like, still keep the path in the middle, which is the path to the light or something, but also have a little bit on the sides that goes dark, together with the vignette.
Yeah.
It will look good.
Yeah, that's a good call. Good call. Was somebody else going to hop in too?
No, I was just going to say that this shot is looking beautiful.
Yeah, it's great, right? It's really
nice.
Nice.
It looks awesome.
It's really nice. All right, cool. All right, Mr. Lopez. All right, this is looking very cool. I think the eyes themselves look beautiful. I love the procedural generation of the texture. The only thing that, this is just me, is that I usually make my eye dings a little bit bigger, just because that like. And you got it in the reference, but it's just like personal style for me. I like them to be just a slight bit bigger, kind of in that range, just because like I think when they kind of get like I think it makes the character look a little beady-eyed when they're this small, and it's a common one. I see them in like Sony movies a lot, and some other ones, but for me, for like a softening of the character's emotions, like having a slightly larger eye ding is good. Like this one's a really big reflection. That to me is like my favorite, is when it functions as an eye ding, but it's more like this window, and it's just like this window reflection here, because then it's like natural to the environment, but also serving that same purpose. But in terms of the eye color themselves, I think they look really great. It's really nice. Yeah, good stuff. Very beautiful job. All right, last up we've got this guy. So let's see if I still have the reference. Let's see, I've definitely got it in the window. Yeah, let us know if you guys are liking that new, this new student feedback thing. I think it's great. We'll see how it goes. Yes, the new one. Yeah, I think this looks great. So this is the reference. Again, we were just like working on that little bit of a patch right in the middle. We've got the rim on the side. We've got the shadows down now on the ground. I think you've hit the mark on this one, and I think I would encourage you to move on to your next challenge. If there was anything that I would say is just like it's like there's a sharp shadow right along here. But other than that, but honestly, I'm not too concerned about it. This assignment really is about kind of, getting your feet wet, getting you understanding the process, getting you used to posting stuff and responding to feedback, and you've definitely accomplished that. And so I think that I would encourage you, like you're starting to get your feet wet a little bit. So I would say, let's get in there and keep blighting a little bit and see where we go to next. All right, I believe, let me just quick run through these. I think that's everyone. Did you all have any questions about anything? Is there anything else you want to cover before we break for the day? All right. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for joining in. It's awesome to have everybody here. Like I said, keep posting. Let us know what you guys think about that forum and the new feedback. I think it'll work well tomorrow with the written critiques. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, be good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.